Offer versus Serve is a provision in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs that allows students to decline some of the food offered. Students still must select a reimbursable meal in order for the meal to be counted towards the claim for reimbursement. Offer versus Serve is mandatory at lunch for grades 9 through 12, although younger grades can still benefit. OVS is optional for all grade levels at breakfast. OVS has multiple benefits. It reduces waste, saves on food costs, and increases satisfaction by allowing students to select their preferences. To implement OVS, the full meal pattern must be offered with the daily minimum portion sizes. Students may opt to decline some food choices and select what they want. OVS also allows for students to select a smaller portion of the fruit or vegetable component than the meal pattern requires. OVS counts menu components at lunch and food items at breakfast. Under OVS, students are allowed to select only 1/2 cup of fruit or vegetable to count towards a reimbursable meal. The full meal pattern must be offered to students, and they may select the full serving sizes of all components. When implementing OVS at lunch, students must select at least 1/2 cup of fruit or vegetable. 2 other components in their daily minimum serving sizes must also be selected. For a reimbursable meal, there must be a total of at least 3 components, including the 1/2 cup of fruit or vegetable. The daily minimums are the same for grades K through 5 and 6 through 8, but are larger for grades 9 through 12. Remember that the daily grain and meat alternate servings must be larger on some days in order to meet the weekly meal pattern requirement. A reimbursable lunch under OVS requires the students to select at least 3 of the 5 components, including at least 1/2 cup of fruit or vegetable. The reduced fruit or vegetable rule can only be used once. The other components must be in their daily minimum portion size. In these reimbursable selections, the sizing is different for the various age groups due to the daily minimum portion sizes. In this example, a high school student would need to take a full cup of fruit if only 1/2 cup of vegetable was selected. When implementing OVS at breakfast, students must select at least 1/2 cup of fruit or vegetable crediting as fruit. 2 other food items in their daily minimum serving sizes must also be selected. For a reimbursable breakfast, there must be a total of at least 3 food items, including the 1/2 cup of fruit. At breakfast, the daily minimums are the same for all grade levels. Remember that the daily grain servings must be larger on some days in order to meet the weekly meal pattern requirements, which increase for each grade level. In order for a student to decline a food item under OVS at breakfast, a total of at least 4 food items must be offered in the 3 required components. Remember, meat alternates can credit as grain after the daily grain requirement has been met. Additionally, vegetables may credit as fruit if required subgroups are served. A reimbursable breakfast under OVS requires a student to select 3 food items, including at least 1/2 cup of fruit. Please contact the state agency with any questions. Idaho Child Nutrition Programs is an equal opportunity provider.